Alrighty, 3, 2, 1.
Boom, and welcome to the Big Honker Podcast Veterans Day Special. This podcast is brought to you by the only two people who have ever died for you, and that's Jesus Christ and the American soldier. So God bless the soldiers, and God bless you, and I'm Jeff Stanfield.
And I'm Andy Shaver.
I'm going to tell a story about Armistice Day Storm, 1940. December 11th, 1940 was a very somber day in America, in the waterfowl world for sure. I'm going to read you a story about it. It's easy to forget. It's easy to forget there was a time not so very long ago, really, when there was no Gore-Tex, no Thinsulite, no neoprene, and no polypropylene. There was a time when outboard motors, far from sleek and powerful marvels of today, were crude, cumbersome beasts, unreliable under the best of circumstances, and all but useless under the worst. There was a time when there was no cell phones, no emergency beacons, no flight-for-life helicopters. There was a time, too, when there was no weather satellites, no telemetry to provide data that could be plugged into sophisticated formulas and fed into supercomputers for timely forecast. Indeed, that the weather could be predicted with any degree of accuracy. Then, November 1940, to be precise, seems almost miraculous. Meteorology in those days being one part science and two parts of the divination of omens, signs, and potence. Nothing brings this into starker relief than the fact that a little over a year later, what happened on radar to be a swarm of aircraft approaching the Hawaiian Islands was dismissed as some sort of malfunction by military officers who refused to treat this newfangled and unproven technology. And that would be December 7th, 1941. Of course, some things do not change with the passage. My computer's a little slow getting down here. Time. And one of those constants is the love of duck hunters for the kind of wet, raw, blustery, thoroughly miserable days that keep normal people indoors with the fireplace crackling and the tea kettle whistling on the stove. And just as absent makes the heart grow fonder, the longer the duck hunter is made to wait for such a day, the hotter the burns his bent-up passion and desires to escape the sloughs, bays, and marshes, and theirs, decoys artfully set, blind brushed and grass, dog expectant and quivering, calls poised to be pressed to the lips, scan the lowering skies for birds that ride the wind. The fall of 1940 had been a mild one in the upper Midwest, an extended Indian summer of warm temperatures and little rainfall. In other words, the duck hunting had been very disappointing. Oh, there had been the usual local birds early in the season, teal, widgeon, shoveler, the odd mallard, without any heavy weather to set the migration in motion. The great flocks of northern ducks were still in the prairie provinces of Canada, fattened up for the long flight south. Hunters throughout the region, from the Dakotas across to Wisconsin, from Minnesota down to southern Illinois, were on pins and needles, knowing that the change in the weather they so dearly wanted was overdue, that it could happen any day. Finally, on Sunday, November 10th, came a forecast that held promise. The outlook was for clouds, snow flurries, and colder temperatures. Wildfowlers were ecstatic, and what made this good news even better was that on Monday, November 11th, was Armistice Day, the predecessor to Veterans Day, and for many people a holiday. Although as holidays go, it was a fairly somber one. The grinding effects of the Depression still lingered in the U.S. and in Europe, where just 21 years earlier the armistice had been signed. War raged once again. Still, it's not much of a leap to suppose that the typical waterfowler of the upper Midwest, upon hearing the forecast on the radio or reading in the local newspaper, felt blessed, even jubilant. Other concerns were pushed aside. Nothing mattered now but getting ready for tomorrow's hunt. Decoys, shell boxes, shotguns, and calls were checked and rechecked. Dittos for boats, motors, gas tanks, and oars. Clothes were carefully laid out. Sandwiches were wrapped in wax paper and refrigerated. Thermos bottles were placed next to coffee percolators. The dog was given extra bait of food because in a few hours he was going to be one very busy retriever and would need all the energy and stamina he could muster. The phone lines hummed as hunting partners called hunting partners, their voices crackling with excitement. They knew with as much certainty as they knew anything that ducks would be flying, and they aimed to be smack dab in the middle of them. They got more than they bargained for. In his magisterial Where the Sky Began, Land of the Tallgrass Prairie, John Madsen describes the genesis of Midwestern Blizzard as a tempestuous marriage of cold, dry polar air sweeping down from Canada and warm, moist subtropical air welling up from the Gulf of Mexico. Since its primary component is wind, Madsen writes, the classic blizzard is essentially a phenomenon of the open lands, particularly the plains and prairies where the topography offers little resistance to moving air and the great storms can run almost unimpeded. There may be more snow in northern and eastern forest regions and certainly as much cold. The difference between winter storms there and the classic prairie blizzards lies in the intensity of unbridled wind that plunges a chill factor to deadly lows, driving a blinding smother of snow during the actual storm, and continuing as ground blizzards and whiteouts long after snow has been stopped falling. Depending on snowfall and wind, the storm may leave drifts 3 times as tall as a man and is usually followed by calm silver blue days of burning cold. That, in a nutshell, describes the blizzard that screamed across the upper Midwest on Monday, November 11th, 1940, devastating everything it touched along the way. The winds blasted at a constant 40 to 50 miles per hour, with gusts in excess of 80. Over 16 inches of snow fell in the Twin Cities, while more than 26 inches were recorded a few miles up the Mississippi River near St. Cloud. In La Crosse, downstream on the Wisconsin side of the Mississippi, the barometric pressure sank to an all-time low. The temperature dropped 30 degrees from above freezing to single digits in 2 hours and continued to plummet from there. Wind chills were eventually off the charts. Nothing escaped the storm's furious, relentless, indiscriminate wrath. Livestock perished by the hundreds of thousands. So many turkeys died in parts of Minnesota and Iowa that after the storm, farms were selling whole, fresh, frozen birds for 25 cents apiece. The losses to wildlife, especially pheasants, were spectacular. Communication and power were disrupted across thousands of square miles, and transportation was brought to an absolute standstill. Every town and village close to a main road became a refuge as stranded travelers sought shelter from the storm. Countless people opened their homes to complete strangers, providing whatever they could offer in the way of board and room. But for some, there was no shelter, no refuge. Motorists stuck in snowdrifts on remote stretches of road were buried alive in their cars, their frozen bodies not exhumed for days. On Lake Michigan, the freighter William P. Davik was sheared in two by monstrous waves.
That's a somber picture.
Yes, the ferocity of the storm was almost beyond reckoning. The accounts of farmers who, after checking on their livestock, literally could not find their way from the barn to the farmhouse. Disoriented, pummeled by the wind, with no visible landmarks to guide them and no sense of east, west, north, or south, they wandered blindly through a roaring white hell. The lucky ones bumped into something they recognized and groped their way to safety. The unlucky ones didn't. Nearly everyone who survived the storm remarked on how incredibly difficult it was just to breathe. The air was so laden with moisture that it seemed as thick as syrup, and even when you were able to draw a deep breath, the cold seared your lungs like a red-hot blade. This is what thousands of duck hunters with their wooden skiffs and their cranky outboards and their canvas coats found themselves caught in. Most of the world knows the Midwestern blizzard of 1911-1940 as the Armistice Day storm. To sportsmen, it's simply the day the duck hunters died. No one really knows how many people lost their lives in direct result of the Armistice Day storm. Although time put the death toll to 159, the actual figure was probably closer to 200, and about half of them were duck hunters. According to John Madsen, 85 duck hunters perished in Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois alone. As he wrote in Where the Sky Began, caught by the storm with little warning, they drowned as they tried to reach land, or stayed in the duck blinds as waves tore them apart, or simply died of exposure that night on the river islands out of reach of help. Imagine laying there and freezing to death and not being able to do nothing about it. Mm-mm. If a storm causes much destruction and loss of life occurred today, someone like Sebastian Junger or John Krakauer would write a best-selling book about it. But while it certainly made headlines, a spread of life was entitled Midwest Tempest Strews Death by Land and Lake. America was preoccupied with other matters. After the dead were buried, the damage was cleared, and the bereaved had ceased to mourn. Life resumed more or less as usual, and the weather for the remainder of the 1940 to 41 was largely unremarkable. But no one who was there ever forget it, nor did the memories, like photos left too long in a shop window, pale with the passage of time. It's a persistence of these memories that 45 years after the event prompted a Minnesota man named William Hull to track down and interview over 500 people who lived through the Armistice Day storm. He then selected 167 of the accounts and assembled them in a book called All Hell Broke Loose, which I highly recommend. Now in its 18th printing, it's replete with tales not only of close calls and narrow escape, but of countless acts of charity, generosity, selflessness, and heroism. There are a number of humorous, colorous tales, as well as the one entitled 3 Hours Digging Path to Outhouse. Not a few of those stories were told by duck hunters. While the specifics may differ slightly, some are called seemingly endless flocks of divers, like redheads, bluebills, and canvasbacks, while others remembered wave upon wave of mallards. They all agree that they'd never seen the sky so filled with ducks. They agree, too, that there was nothing in the weather in that morning to presage what was coming, that the storm was upon them almost before they knew what was happening, and only by the grace of God did they survive. Every sportsman has went through something. Every sportsman does not desire to go through something like this. Okay, I'm going to tell a couple of stories that I've read from here if I can find where I was at. The first renowned sporting artist David Haggerburn remembers about the Armistice Day storm is that he and his hunting partner Jerry Gastineau ran out of shells as wave upon wave of ducks pitched into their decoys. The second thing he remembers is that they got even more ducks on the day after the storm than they did without firing a shot. Instead, by combing the banks of the Mississippi River, they found dozens of mallards that had fallen and other hunters gone. Couldn't retrieve, and the wind, gale force winds, eventually drifted into the shoreline wallows. On Armistice Day itself, Hagerman, then 19, and Gastineau. Why can't these people have just easy names for me to do?
Gustafson.
Gastineau set up on a Goose Island in the Lock 21 area of the Mississippi between Quincy, Illinois, and Hannibal, Missouri. They hunt out of a 16-foot John boat fashioned of 1-inch cypress planks. A boat hammer recalls wiggled like a snake. If you stood one of it, it flexed your legs. It was warm in the 60s when we started. I was wearing cotton long underwear, canvas pants, and a canvas coats. By the time we quit, it was well below freezing. Ice was forming on the boat, and the winds were horrendous. We had the shanty at the mouth of Mill Creek, and we had to cross about 300-yard chute of river to get there. It was tough going. The waves were hitting us abeam, and because they were running with the current, it was a real struggle to keep from being swept downstream. Jerry did most of the rowing because I had my hands full bailing. When we finally got across, we ducked into the shanty and built a fire. Then when we'd warm up, we would set out on foot along the levee. It was a 2-mile walk home, and our parents were frantic by the time we got back. The ducks, they were all mallards, would drop in, take a drink, and immediately crawl up on a sandbar to rest. They were wiped out from fighting the wind. In fact, we kind of felt bad about shooting them. All in all, the Armistice Day was a great experience for me. I'm glad it happened when I was young and in good physical shape. If I had to go through it now, getting to the age I'm now, I'm not sure I could handle it. Cyril Walker of Fremont, Wisconsin, in the heart of the wildlife-rich Wolf River bottoms, recalls standing on the shore near a power line and cut and burning up 2 boxes of shells that the ducks poured into Partridge Lake. The kicker, notes the 83-year-old looker at the birds when this was written, there were mallards and divers both were flying beneath the wires. The account was eclipsed as all the rest, though, and that has made the Armistice Day storm so vividly and chillingly real for generations of sportsmen ever since. Gordon McQuarrie, who's one of my favorite authors, wrote, This happened in Winona, Minnesota, a Mississippi River town about 90 miles downstream from the Twin Cities. The river there is a sprawling 2-mile wild wilderness of islands, oxbows, and backwater sloughs, and Winona was the epicenter of the disaster. At least 20 duck hunters died within 50 miles of the city. The winds of hell were loose on the Mississippi Armistice Day and night. They come from the prairie from the south and west, a mighty freezing force. They charged down from the high river bluffs to the placid streams below and reached with deadly fingers for the life that beat beneath the canvas jackets of hundreds of duck hunters. The wind did it, the furious wind that pierced any clothing, that locked outboard engines and sheets of ice, that froze on the hands, faces, and clothing, so that survivors crackled when they got to safety and said their prayers. Mother Nature caught hundreds of duck hunters on the Armistice Day holiday. She lured them out on the marshes with her fine whooping wind, and when she got them there, she froze them like muskrats in traps. She promised ducks the wind. They came all right, but by the time the duck hunters were playing a bigger game with the wind, their lives were at the stake. By the time the men along the Mississippi River were drowning and freezing, the ducks came and men died. They died underneath upturned skiffs as the blast sought them out on boggy, unprotected islands. They died trying to light fires, and jumping and sparring, just trying to keep warm. They died sitting in skiffs. They died standing in the river water to their hips, awaiting help. They died trying to help each other. 100 tales of heroism could be told after the funerals were over. McQuarrie told of Gerald Terrace, a strapping 17-year-old who'd gone hunting in the Mississippi bottoms that fateful day with his father, brother, a family friend, and their black lab. They set up mid-morning in a drizzly rain. By noon, they were trapped in 6-foot waves that pounded the huge iron fist and broke spray on their face. The men beat on one another to try to keep warm, but it was a losing battle. At about 2 a.m., the friend uttered one last moan and died in Gerald's arms. Gerald's brothers held out until 11 in the morning, but after 23 hours of exposure, he too succumbed. Then shortly after noon, a small plane flew over. Gerald waved, and the pilot signaled that help was on the way. Rescuers in the government tugboat Throckmorton arrived at 2:30, half an hour too late to save Gerald's father. They found the boy crouched against a stump, holding his dog for warmth, fighting to remain conscious. Max Conrad, the pilot who led rescuers to Gerald Tyrus, was one of the true heroes of the Armistice Day storm. Dozens of hunters would later acknowledge that they owed their lives to him. On Tuesday the 12th, with the wind still howling but the skies clear, he took off from his hangar in Winona to help find the hunters who hadn't come home. Flying a redoubtable Piper Cub and fighting to make even 20 or 30 knots of airspeed against the brutal headwinds, he scanned the frozen margins of the Mississippi for the living, but often as not discovered the dead. When he located survivors, they were frequently huddled in the lee of a skiff that propped up against a windbreak. Conwood would circle low, cut the engine for a moment, and holler, "Hang on, help is coming." A few minutes later, he'd return and, like Mama sent down from heaven, drop a canister filled with sandwiches, whiskey, dry matches, and cigarettes. Conrad would then circle until the Throckmorton or one of the many other rescue boats that had deployed in search of survivors could get a fix on the spot. He kept flying until 10 p.m. that night, and he was out again at dawn the following day. There's no telling how many hunters died for the simple one of dry matches, but even that was no guarantee, as there was the problem of finding dry fuel to burn. Many prized Mason decoys went up in flames, and a group of 17 hunters stranded on the same island took turns shooting down limbs for firewood till the ammunition ran out. The Mississippi River is not the only place where duck boats crashed. 2 hunters died on Wisconsin's Big Muskogee Lake, barely 20 miles from downtown Milwaukee. One of those men alone was on his skiff, trapped by waves and ice. Toward the end, another party of hunters glimpsed him standing in his boat with his head tilted back, his arms stretched outward and his palms turned up, as if he was imploring God or perhaps commanding his soul to him. While the other hunters, who themselves were fighting to survive, watched helpless, the man slumped back in the skiff, leaned heavy against the gunwale, and went motionless. His spirit, like the ducks that drew out on the terrible day, had flown. Anyways, what a horrible, crappy day. Mm-hmm. Doing just something they love to do without all the things that we have today. We have so much to be thankful for when it comes to technology and survival skills, and not really the skills, just the equipment. Like today's boats, those guys have, like we talked to the guys that were hunting the boats the other day, they have a cell phone. You can get a helicopter probably to come help you, or somebody else in a boat. The clothes that we have today are waterproof, and most people, I would assume, that do that have some kind of emergency kit with them.
Right.
I mean, you've got dry bags that you can put all kinds of stuff in, but to freeze to death duck hunting,
not good
on a day when it starts out at 60 degrees.
Well, and like the people said, they were lured out almost. It
was a tease.
It was, and they weren't prepared for what was coming. And even, really, I mean, with the equipment that they had back then, had they known what was coming, would they have even been able to be prepared?
Probably not, because there was no waterproof. There was nothing waterproof. There's probably some people that, like that kid said, that when he was there, it was a great experience for him. The hunting was absolutely out of this world.
And he made it home.
Yes. And a lot of people went through that. But I can't imagine being that cold and that miserable and that lonely and that scared, especially someone by themselves out there. Mm-hmm. Or to watch your child die, or your father doing something you love, regardless of what you're doing. It's just a horrible, horrible situation. And I've talked about this 1,000 times. This needs to be made a movie. This is a great historic event in our country that doesn't affect anything but that region or a certain group of people. If you're not if you're not a hunter in general, you probably don't get it. Mm-hmm. But you've been cold out there, mm-hmm. and you've sat in the elements. You've hunted before when it's below zero, mm-hmm. which for us is cold. For people up north, it's not that big a deal. They're hunting in something that's 25 or 30 below zero. But we have the equipment to do it, and you're prepared, and you know what it's going to be like. Mm-hmm. A completely different type subject, but I kind of relate this to like the Donner Party.
Sure.
Those people had no idea what they were getting into. You know today that if you try to cross a mountain pass, what you're going to be dealing with in the time of year and whatever it is. Those people had no idea.
Yeah.
And that's a different breed of cat we had back then that was a waterfowl hunter. And the fact that they had to endure that and that there wasn't an answer had to be one of the most helpless feelings in the world. To be trapped on because I always think of being on the back days. You got guns. I'm like, why didn't they just burn the freaking tree down?
I mean, sure, it wasn't ready to be burned. There's enough moisture in it.
Well, they're
and then it's snowing.
They're shooting limbs down. I mean, looking back, everything's always real simple to do.
I mean, I don't know.
It's hard to believe that.
Maybe they could have started the fire close to the tree.
I'd have just tried to start the damn tree on fire.
I don't think it would work.
But yeah, because it's just pelting wet snow. It was a real wet snow too. I mean, what a horrible way to go. And I'm sure there's guys that built shelters. Mm-hmm. Nobody had that. What gets me is nobody had an axe or anything. But then again, who takes an axe duck hunting?
Yeah, I mean, nobody thought that they were going to get trapped out there.
Nobody left that morning thinking I'm going to be stuck here. I read one account where they found men that were they found them in the water, and they were sitting in the water because it was warmer than being on the ground because the water was warmer and the water was cold and
provide a little bit of insulation.
Hypothermia and froze to death right there.
That's, I mean, and you know, as a father now, you think about, you know, it's going to be this great day. Let me get my kids out. It's a holiday, so probably not in school, but I'm going to get my kid out there. It's going to be a great time. The hunting's going to be phenomenal. And then that bitch hits, and you are helpless. And the last thing you want to do is see your kid in trouble.
Oh, yeah. I enjoy cold weather a lot more than I do hot weather. I'm not a hot weather person. I'd much rather cold weather. And but I've been really cold a few times in my life. Mm-hmm. And I always, when I watch anything from up north in the upper Midwest, which everybody that listens to this knows I would love to live up north. And even like on A Christmas Story, when those kids are going to school in the snow and shit, and they're at the house, the heater and stuff, I'm thinking, that had to be cold as hell.
Sure.
Because you know them old houses didn't hold heat like the ones today do. And I just, man, cold and out on an island. I mean, I'd never been stranded anywhere hunting. My dad has one time. He had to walk about 10 miles one night off of a lake and it was cold too. Hell, it was probably 15, 20 degrees. But he had camo, and I mean, today's clothing.
Well, and it's different too, because if you're moving and you've got somewhere to go,
he was dry.
You can at least generate a little bit of heat to keep going.
Right.
But if you're just fucking stuck there and you're huddled up, your body's not moving, so your blood flow's not going. But I mean, listen, most of the people, if they just had to walk out, probably would have been okay. But
there wasn't nothing to walk to.
People that got trapped and just fucking pull that boat over on the side to make a little bit of a windbreak. It's fucking terrible.
There was no
terrible
escape.
Way to go.
There was no escape at all. And that's what Dad was talking about when he walked out of Lake Diversion that time. He had on waders. He walked for a long time, and Dad was a big, stout guy, and he was really in good shape then. And he said he laid down and took a nap. He said, shit, I wore out, so I stopped and laid down he said, I laid down by an oil field pump jack for about an hour, hoping that somebody was going to be on their way in, and then he walked to another light, and he finally got some help. But he said it was a long, long, long walk and cold. But he had on clothing from today's standards.
Right. And
he wasn't wet. He's probably sweating. But those people were wet. They come up. Once you get cold and wet, you're in trouble.
You're fucked. I mean, there's no way to fix it.
No.
When your base layer gets wet, you're fucked. The only thing you can do is change clothes.
That's right. And those people didn't have that.
No. You are absolutely fucked. Go home, change clothes. That's the only way you're going to get warm.
And people from the upper Midwest are tough people, because I've seen them talk about not needing gloves, and it's not cold. And then when it's cold, it's cold. And they weren't prepared for that, so none of them had gloves. Nobody was overprotective back then like they are now.
Right.
You know, we've raised a bunch of pussies today compared to back then.
Yeah, back to my jacking off with grass burrs.
That's right. And so those people were hardy people, and they weren't expecting nothing. And it just that's a horrible deal, and it's a sad story. And every year this time it reminds me of it, because I hear about it. And it's a sad, sad day. So Veterans Day has more meaning than the Veterans Day is what it's about. But this is just another story of Veterans Day on a very sad day for America.
It's selfish, but I would love to see something like that again. Push those fuckers on out.
You just
A
amaze
massive,
me.
massive.
The lines
No,
you
no, no,
cross.
no, no.
You would like to see a massive
A
front.
massive, no, not obviously not people dying, but a massive,
That wouldn't happen today.
a big. Why?
People would be prepared.
No,
they would know.
no,
Weather-wise,
no.
we wouldn't have. You would like to see a front like that again.
I would like to see a front
Yes.
like that. No,
Yeah.
I don't want to see anybody.
No, that's
get
what I'm
stuck or
that's
die
what
or
I'm
anything like that.
clarifying before you start getting all your messages.
No, I'm sorry.
But we
no,
would,
no, no.
You would
no.
love to see a front like that again, but we would never have a day like that again because people are prepared.
No,
for
everybody would be prepared for it.
it. Yeah.
But
if you went out knowing that forecast they would have had, you'd be a dumbass.
you know somebody's going to go out.
Well, yeah,
Somebody's going out.
Every year we hear about some duck hunters dying somewhere. We had some guys died not long 2 winters ago.
Yeah.
And I saw the forecast. I'm thinking, what are they thinking? You know, it's going to be 15 degrees and you're going to go get on a big lake in a boat. I mean, that's not. If you fall out of the boat, you're going to freeze to death.
With the wind and everything.
Yeah, I mean, if you fall out of the boat, time they get you back in and get you to somewhere, you're going to have a lot of issues if you're 15 minutes in the middle. You can't fall in a lake and be froze or get wet when it's 15 degrees outside and have 15 to 20 minutes to get to a dry place and have any chance of getting not hypothermia setting in, I don't think.
I wonder what it's like. Do you get really, really cold and then your body goes numb and then you just kind of drift off to sleep?
From what I've seen on TV, and it's TV, is that you start getting warm again, and then you're fucked.
Really?
Yeah, when you start getting warm, you're dying.
I wonder if it's that you're getting warm again, or if it's just that everything's kind of shutting off and going numb.
I think everything's shutting off, and you don't realize that you're still freezing to death. I don't know. It would be a horrible way to go.
I just think of my fingers, my dainty little fingers.
You ever been so cold where you couldn't hardly get your fingers to do anything?
Yes,
That's bad.
That's what I'm saying. But I just think of that, and then it's just pins and needles in your hands, and then having that feeling in your toes and then your legs, and then it just works its way up.
You ever been so cold you stuck your fingers under your armpits?
Sure. I stick them in my crotch. That's where I go. That's the warmest part of your body.
Armpits or crotch? I always went to armpits. You went to your crotch.
Well,
okay.
That's tough to get in there sometimes when you got your jacket. What I do is I got my bibs if it's that cold, and I just.
So if he's a Democrat, you just reach down around your knees.
Well, that's ugly to say. That's ugly to say. But yeah, it goes in my pants. It's where my hands go when they're cold.
Well, when you're
right down the trousers.
Yeah. Once your fingers and toes, you're in trouble.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, you can warm them back up. Some gloves.
Last winter, it was a cold, snowy day, and I saw a guy on a horse out here, and I thought, pickup truck or horse? Pickup truck has a heater in it. Mm-hmm. There's nothing warm about being on a freaking horse.
No. Did he have a silk scarf on?
That blows my mind still about that.
Everybody in Texas, all the cowboys wear silk scarves around their necks. I guess they've never heard of wool.
It don't keep them warm, I promise.
They swear it does. But it can't.
No.
Listen, you put silk sheets on in the summertime. I don't, because I'm not old school like that.
I slide off of them.
And I have a working air conditioner in my house.
Yes.
But the old school people,
that's why that's where
wear
silk sheets were there.
Silk.
Because it was cooler.
It was nice and cool. You just slip on in there. It's like a little air conditioner under your bottom at night. So now you're going to wear something that keeps you cool in the wintertime.
Do y'all even own any silk sheets?
Fuck no.
We don't either. I knew a girl.
When did those go out of style? That had to be.
I knew a girl in college that had one. And
silk sheets?
Yeah, I jumped on them and went sliding right off the fucking bed.
Yeah.
I've never understood the silk
My
sheet
grandparents had silk pillowcases, and same thing. You just.
Yeah.
All night long.
So it's because of the coolness.
I assume so. I always felt pretty cool. Why else would you put it on there?
I didn't know. I didn't ever. We were never rich enough to have silk sheets. We were lucky to have sheets.
We'll look it up.
I didn't know what really good sheets were until I married your mom, and then she started buying. And I can tell you this much: sheets get awful fucking expensive. But when you buy those 12 and 1300 thread count ones, you're spoiled if you ever have to go back to the cheap Walmart ones. I even bought nice sheets to take to Oklahoma for me to have in my bed up there, so I didn't have them little fabric balls on them.
It says here, silk prevents overheating.
Well, that's why then.
So yeah, and then our fucking cowboys put it around their most vital part, their neck.
No, I'm not a cowboy. I'm not a cowboy.
You get a nice wool scarf from Filson, wrap that bitch up a couple times, and then you're good to go.
What gets me is you don't see them wearing hoodies either, or not a hoodie, but like a Gore-Tex waterfowl parka. If I was on a horse and it was February, That's what I'd have.
It's like they're hanging on to something. They want to be Denim Dan. They want to be the Marlboro Man. That's what they want. They got their denim jacket on. They pop the collar. They got no ear protection. Nothing. Their ears are getting cold. You know it.
Yeah, cowboy hats aren't really good for your ears.
No, nothing. Listen, they need to get up with the times.
It's a tough life.
Ooh, it is. It is. I don't know.
Or be riding around in the pickup. That's what I'd be doing.
And silk reduces allergies, soothes sore skin, and improves your complexion.
Did you see where, speaking of wintertime, did you see where Blake had some snow again this morning?
I did. You were bitching about everything being hot. And
No, it's dry is more what I was getting at.
Oh.
It's dry from here to there. And then they got some snow today, but it ain't going to be much. Western Oklahoma, western Kansas, it's all dry. It's been a crazy winter. We went in September, the earliest we've ever been in the 40s. Snow, the earliest snow we've ever had, nice. Hell, they closed school for a day or two here. And then back up to 70 freaking degrees, flatline for the next week. It just don't make sense.
And obviously, we're not going to have an Armistice Day Blizzard.
Not here. They are in Saskatchewan, though. Big blizzard in Canada.
Really?
Yeah, and that'll help us.
Yeah, well, hold on.
Where are you fixing to go?
Right here. I got something.
You know, on YouTube, you can't change all this, so we're stuck with whatever you... There's no editing going on here.
Keep talking.
I don't know what you want me to talk about. You just turned the camera off there. Or it's covered, and there you go. Did you get fixed way too? We're still working out all of our stuff here.
For some reason.
Is that camera not working?
Yeah, it's working, but...
Is it on you?
No. Yeah, it's on me.
Okay, well, we're losing out on the shot on Andy.
But for whatever reason, it's got like a weird blue tint right now. I don't know why. So I was going to try to fix it.
Anyways, this wasn't going to be a real long episode. This was.
You look great in your camera.
Well, thank you very much.
Me, I got like a weird blue tint all of a sudden.
You like my new haircut?
You did that yourself?
No, Dylan did. Gave me a haircut. She loves it.
Why?
Oh, she just loves giving me a haircut. She thinks it's the coolest thing ever. Kind of make me nervous around my ears, though.
I bet.
I was like, why don't you let Shell do the ears and not do them? Saves me $20. I get paid $20 to get a haircut every time I go in there. Girl spends 5 minutes doing it, and then I can't even get her to call to schedule an appointment. If I was a woman cutting hair or a barber, I'd work all day long, 10 hours a day, because there ain't nothing. It don't take no time to cut a guy's hair. How long does it take you to get your hair cut? 5 minutes?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's big money. So what are you trying to do to this camera now? I'm going to talk about the election now then. Very disappointed in the election. I don't mind getting beat. If you beat me fair and square, I can handle that. I don't care what we're playing or what we're doing or anything at all. But beat me fair and square. And this election, and I don't want to sound like I'm crying over spilt milk, but I'm not, because I'm not. It seems like a lot of fugazi shit was going on, and we're starting to find out more and more of this. I think as an American, I have really realized how little the American public actually means to Washington, D.C. 71 million people voted for Donald Trump. 75 million people voted for Joe Biden, supposedly. But if you take away California and New York, Donald Trump is a more popular president. And I know California and New York count. He got them electoral votes. But we have a real disconnect in our country, the people in the middle of the country and Washington, D.C. And we have been cheated in probably about 5 states, and they're starting to find out. They call it a computer glitch. I call it a fucking is what I call it. You can call it what you want, but a computer glitch is when I push this button and something accidentally happens or it shuts off or something. When you push this button, it automatically takes fucking money out of my account and gives it to my neighbor's account. That's not a fucking glitch. Somebody's getting fucked, and that's what's happening to our country. And
do you think anything comes of this?
I want to say yes, but I just don't have much faith in anything.
I just know
the
how
Supreme
everything
Court,
works.
They always fuck us.
You think this is going to be the nail in their coffin? Everything's going to get changed or reversed, and nothing ever changes.
Is Hillary Clinton in prison?
Nope.
Have they found out who hung Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, we know.
Well, I know, but have you heard of anybody being arrested that was connected with Jeffrey Epstein, his island?
Mm-mm.
Nope. Has Hunter Biden been arrested yet?
Nope.
then
So-
why should we figure that they're going to overthrow this fake election? Now, I will say this. We've never had a politician like Donald Trump that's got some balls in the spine. George W. Bush wouldn't have done this shit. Nobody else.
What irritates me the most are all the calls for unity now.
Oh,
Where the fuck was this in 2016?
Yeah, they wasn't no fucking unity.
And what's scary, and you call me what you want, but when you look at AOC and some of the writings of other people that are wanting to, keep tabs on the Republicans,
Yes.
everybody that voted for Trump, that's what Mao said. That's what Stalin said. That's what Lenin said.
Well, bitch, write my name down because I'm on that list.
But I mean, if you're on the wrong side of this shit, I mean, that's a serious accusation.
Yep.
All of these people, all Mao, Stalin, Lenin, they all said that the enemies you gotta surveil them so you can round them up and you can get rid of them.
That's right.
The dumb bitch doesn't even know what she's saying.
No, she's an idiot. But you're right, 100% right. And I
That's
think
scary.
It is scary, and I think we're gonna have a lot of discord after this is over. If I read a minute ago, and man, you see so much shit you don't know what it is. But I saw where Wisconsin, they found a glitch there, and it gave 19,000 votes to Trump and took them away for Biden. So Trump basically should be winning Wisconsin now. But I haven't seen any official marker.
I thought he was down way more than that.
No, he was. Well, it's 38,000 vote swing.
I've seen that Real Clear Politics has not called anybody.
No, you shouldn't. Well, first, that's where we make a big mistake. The media is not the people in charge of this. I don't know that they're going to reverse anything. I have no idea. This is going to be a long, drawn-out process. I will be shocked if by Inauguration Day that they've got a clear-cut winner. I think that Joe Biden it has been used. I think the Democrats cheated. The left says that we're just whiny ass and not giving it up. The Republicans think we're getting screwed. I think we're getting screwed. The truckers are talking about going on a strike if they don't fix this.
The truckers are?
Yeah,
I've not heard this.
Oh, yeah, they're talking about shutting down completely, not delivering anything until they fix this election. Now, I don't know how true all this is and what degree that is, but that's huge. Mm-hmm. The truckers can shut down our fucking country in a heartbeat.
They can.
No food, nothing. So, no fuel back and forth. So we're at some trying times. I don't think the Supreme Court will reverse anything, but I do think that they're going to do some investigations, and if they count just legal votes, Donald Trump will be elected. I don't think
so.
Yes, I don't think the Supreme Court's going to go in and reverse something that the states don't fix. But I think there's enough pressure, and I think they're going to get some things changed. I would not be surprised if Trump wins Arizona, Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin.
Whew.
And then he would be president. But it's going to be done at the state level or by federal government investigating. I don't think it will be done by the Supreme Court justices get in the middle of it. But here's the kicker on that deal. Joe Biden trashed Clarence Thomas when he was up for Supreme Court. Kamala Harris trashed Kavanaugh. I know they're fair and impartial, and that's their job, but you can't tell me back of their mind they don't remember that.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And who knows? But I don't think the Supreme Court will make a choice to boot somebody out of the presidency. But I think that if they go by legal votes, and I think they will change some legal votes, I think we got a long battle ahead of us. The scary thing is, have you heard of one town burning up?
Mm-mm.
Not one act of violence. Now, if they reverse this decision, what do you think is going to happen?
It is going to be fucking ugly.
Yep, they're going to burn this whole country up. Try to.
All the big cities are going to go up in flames.
Yep, because those people think that everybody owes them something and someone stole the election.
Yeah.
Which is so far from the truth.
Well, and at this point, I don't think it matters who wins. Half the country is going to feel like,
oh, yeah, it doesn't matter.
They were screwed.
If Joe Biden is inaugurated as president, I'm going to think, you know that motherfucker, they cheated.
Not my president.
Yep. No, I'm not going to say that, but I think he cheated me.
I'm going to say it.
Okay, but I'm not going to say he's not my president, but I think they cheated us. And if I saw him somewhere, I would be respectful. I mean, you could flip him off. He wouldn't know if he's shitting his pants or waving back at you, so it wouldn't really matter. But I would be respectful, just like I would have been around Obama. I don't care much for the bastard, but I would have been respectful.
Obama won fair and square, though.
He did. But I'm saying I still would be respectful to respect that office that he holds. But I don't have any use for him.
Listen, I know he's not going to hold that office for very long.
Fuck no. That's
If he makes it past the summer,
yeah,
I will be very shocked.
Oh, blow me knees is going to be there. And I still do not understand why they picked her.
They wanted an Indian chick.
Or a black chick. Or a Jamaican chick.
I thought her dad's white.
I have no idea.
Thought her dad's white and her mom's Indian.
You know, the whole time.
I know her dad was a slave owner.
Yeah, her family was. I don't think her dad was.
Well, yeah,
her
family.
grandfather. I think that this whole process has been funny because all we heard the whole time is Russia, 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 how they colluded in the election. Well, I didn't see one fucking Russian in line, but I saw a bunch of Americans, and I think the Americans are the ones that colluded on this fucking election. There's so many people coming out now that work for the Postal Service.
He's a black fella.
That were told to change votes. Someone I just saw a minute ago, somebody had a wedding reception this weekend at some place that they did election polling, and in the trash they found a shitload of ballots.
Probably all for Trump.
I'm sure they were.
That's what's funny is none of this goes the other way. Glitches never work.
No.
Never work in our favor.
You ain't heard of one glitch yet that gave Trump 25,000 votes.
Mm-mm. You don't hear of these big ballots. Now, listen, I knew that mail-in ballots were going to skew Biden.
A bunch.
I knew that. But 100%? 100%. 100% of these 4 a.m. dumps were for Biden?
Yeah.
Come on. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
It's 3 a.m. We just got 129,000 votes. Not one person like Trump.
In the words of our president-elect, come on, man.
Did you see where Hunter Biden was on stage with him?
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah. He was on. He hadn't been. Nobody's seen him in, 4 weeks, 5 weeks? Him and old Camel Toes were on there together. I bet they were hitting a crack pipe before the damn deal started.
Well, you don't know if she's done crack. But toughest question he got from the media. What's your favorite ice cream there, Biden? But what upsets me the most is all the stuff on Hunter Biden's going to get swept under the rug. You'll never hear another word of it.
I don't know about that.
If Trump's gone,
I still think you'll hear a shitload about it.
Who's gonna carry on the torch? Biden's not. You think Biden's going to investigate his own son?
No. But that it's not going to go away. It don't matter who's in president. If they've got something to bitch, even Obama and them got that'll be questioned. I'm not saying they'll do anything about it, but it ain't going to go away.
I think it goes away.
Okay.
That's gone. Biden has sold out to China. He sold out to Russia. If the allegations of Hunter Biden are true, which I think that they are.
Oh, I think there's no doubt they're true.
So that's going to go away. If I were Trump, now.
He ain't going to let it go away.
I think this is a death sentence if he does this. But on my way out, I would declassify everything.
Oh, I would too.
Now, that might mean that the deep state comes in, which is not good for him. But I would declassify everything, take my chances. If he is going out, I hope he lets us know if aliens are real.
That's your choice.
Just let us know, one way or the other. If it's no, it's no. I'm fine with that. But if they're floating around, because I don't want to get probed.
Can I answer you that for you?
Go ahead.
I think they're definitely there.
Well, you think? I think that they're there too, but you don't know for sure.
If he come
Trump
out and
knows
said
for
it,
sure.
if he come out and said it, you still would think, well, I don't know.
No, I wouldn't.
So you wouldn't have to have one slap you in the face to believe it.
No, fuck no.
Okay.
If President Trump came out, or if any president came out and was like, hey, listen, all that shit we gathered at Roswell, that's true. Because if you look at the technology that we've fucking gained since the Roswell crash, it's incredible. So if a president came out and said everything that we gathered at Roswell has led to these technological advances, I'd be like, oh, yeah, fuck, 100%.
So you think in 1976 or 77, if we had the stealth fighter but we still didn't have a cell phone, you'd think that maybe we got that from somewhere else?
I think we got it from somewhere else.
Yeah, I think so, too.
I think we got it from the aliens, from the Greys. And then, I mean, you look at what's his name, Bob Lazar, Element 115. He knew that fucking forever. Took 20 years for it to get on the periodic table of elements. He saw it back in the 90s or 80s whenever he was making his claims.
Oh, I think that there's aliens. I just said they're there. That doesn't surprise me at all.
But yes, if president...
That's what you would want from Trump. That would be your number one thing.
Well, can you think of anything that's more earth-shattering than that?
No, because that goes against the Bible and everything.
I don't think it goes against the Bible at all.
I think the Christians are scared that that's going to show that there's, and I don't know why. I don't know why mankind somewhere else would bother a Christian.
How does that? God never said He didn't create anything else.
I understand that, but I think a lot of them think it goes against the Bible.
Here's you a deep question.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm about to shake you.
Okay.
Like a fucking hit stick on Madden.
If this is about my mom or dad, I do not want to answer that.
No. Where did God come from?
That's a good question. I've thought about that before.
Does God know where God came from?
I don't know.
Or was He just like floating around?
Is he lonely?
He's kind of fucking. Well, no, he's got Jesus.
But no, you're right. I've thought about that many times.
Like, was He just floating around the atmosphere and was like, you know what? This looks like a good spot.
That's something I'd want to ask God.
Where'd you come from, by the way?
Parents?
Where'd you come from, by the way? So, I mean, you could say, yeah.
Well, we go way down the rabbit hole.
Well, I mean, it's true.
That's a very good question, though.
Where did He come from? Did He come from anywhere? Did He create Himself? Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's like the statue of the guy that's chiseling himself out of granite. Maybe that was God.
Okay. So, back to
Told you.
To
Told you
Trump.
it was going to fucking hit stick you.
I don't know what I would like to know. I would like to know the whole story behind John F. Kennedy's death.
That would be a good one.
I would really like to know. I think the CIA had him killed. Now, I'm not saying that I think John Denver shot him, and I'm not saying that I know President George H. Bush was involved, but I think that he obviously.
You got more shit dinging and fucking going on.
My doorbell went off, but I don't think that that's what I would like to know. The alien deal, I would like to know. I believe that's happening, but I would like to know that I'd like to know the story of JFK. The scary thing about the alien thing is if they do grab people and probe them and do all that stuff with them, is how many people that are on milk cartons everywhere that are missing kids are missing because some aliens took them.
I mean, you got to think that they are.
It's
If
got
aliens
something
are
to do with
real, you got to think that they're abducting people and taking experiments, just like we do on everything that we come across. If we see something new, what's the first thing that we do as humans? What's the first thing that we do?
Why are they still experimenting on us? We've been here forever, and they're so much inferior.
They're just not.
I mean, not
getting
inferior, superior to us when it comes to technology.
I don't know. Maybe they see what we're doing in our fucking election and is like, hey, what's going on in these people?
Yeah.
Let's take some DNA samples, see what's changing.
So our cell phones aren't in our future?
What are you talking about?
Well, the aliens that we didn't get no cell phone technology from them. We got how to build a spacecraft.
We got the microchip.
You think that come from aliens?
I think every technological advance that you see right now came from around Roswell when we found that.
You think that's the first time
What, that they visited us?
that we got any information from them?
I don't know.
That's
the big one.
Do you think that?
Because if you look at all the advances, 1960, we're humming along, and then it's straight up.
Who's credited with inventing the microchip?
Well, I don't have a clue.
IBM or somebody?
I don't have a clue.
That would be interesting to see who invented the IBM. Who has a patent on the microchip?
I don't know I'm assuming that they're making their own.
No. But someone has to have a patent on it. It's one of the most important devices ever built.
I don't know if you can. I mean, I don't know.
You don't think someone? I bet
you're in over my head.
Someone has got to have a patent on the microchip.
Well,
I'm going to guess IBM probably. That's exactly who I would guess is IBM. Because Cisco did the switches on the computers, so I'm going to say IBM probably. It's a microchip, and then when you say it, I'm going to say, yeah, I knew that.
Oh no. Ooh. Here's something. Well, hold on. Let's get past Snopes. I'm looking here. Microsoft patent refers to device like smartwatches, not microchips.
Microsoft did not invent the microchip. They were not even in business when the microchip came out. Bill Gates was still a poor dickhead then, not a rich asshole like he is now.
I don't know. I can't really find
It doesn't
anything.
say who invented the microchip?
It's just verifying whether or not Microsoft has a patent on it.
I wonder how they would get a patent.
I mean, I don't know. That's kind of a broad fullfact.com. Microchips in the bodies. I don't think we're going to talk about that. But here's what is scary. So here's what's claimed. Microsoft and Bill Gates have a file patent number 060606 for a microchip which is inserted into the body and which rewards activity with cryptocurrency.
Okay, I've got it for you.
What?
Who invented the microchip? Jack Kilby and Robert Noyce in 1959. Kilby of Texas Instruments, which was who made the calculators.
Okay.
That's who did it.
And where did you find this?
1959 in Yahoo, right on the freaking page. Who invented the microchip?
Oh, I said who patented the microchip.
Oh, I didn't say it. I said who invented.
You said patented.
Well, he received a patent for it. Texas Instruments did that. Who invented the microchip? Jack Kilby and Robert Noyce. That's in about 3 or 4 different places of it.
Now, I wonder if they had any ties to Roswell.
I don't have a clue.
Might have been CIA people. So anyway, Microsoft has a patent 666 that deals with microchips going into people.
Well, in 1959, the microchip was invented by Texas Instruments.
When was the Roswell crash?
1947, 48 maybe. It was after World War II.
We'll just find out. 47.
1947. So I'm not saying they didn't do it that way, but it was microchip. And Texas Instruments was a big company, so maybe the government got into it. When was NASA invented?
I don't know.
1960s?
Maybe.
That you know, they had there's a lot of things that we use today that NASA's invented that's in everyday life here. I'm not saying that Roswell didn't come up with the microchip, because it probably did. The thing that they're wanting to find out more than anything... 1958. The thing that they're wanting to find out more than anything on the spaceship stuff, what do you think it is?
How they propel their propulsion
the power
system.
Source. The power source. They think they figured out the propulsion from what I listen. I listen to read a bunch of shit. Who knows how much of it's true with all this geek shit?
Well, I think it's element 115 is what they think.
But the power source that keeps recreating energy.
Right.
That's the problem they had. Now, Bob Lazar talks about that, where a guy he took the guy's job who got killed trying to figure that out, because he cut into the source.
Yeah, with like a plasma cutter or
and it blew his fucking ass up all over the place. But that's the problem, is they don't know how they propel themselves. But it's some kind of nuclear fission type deal. The propulsion part, I think they're finally starting to figure it out.
But the fuel source, they don't know.
The fuel source is the problem. They don't understand. And to be able to travel and stop and go as fast as they do. Dude, I about threw up the other day in Tony's little fucking, whatever you call that thing, his virtual
VR?
reality deal.
Were you masturbating too hard?
No, not at all. But the ups and downs, I'm thinking space shuttle is probably not for me. A spaceship's not for me to ride on.
No. But the JFK one would be, it'd be a toss-up.
There's a lot of histories of a book of secrets about America I'd like to know.
That's what he's just the whole book.
I would like to know everything that we've got. I'd like to know about the hidden room at Mount Rushmore, if it's really up there. I would like to know if they spread disease to the Indians on purpose.
I don't think that they did. I think it was just...
I don't know. I'd like to know that, though. I would like to know if they really sterilized a bunch of black people in the South. I would like to know if Abraham Lincoln really was assassinated, or if they shipped his ass off somewhere.
Where would they ship them to?
Just some conspiracy theories that they sent his ass off. I would like to know if he was really going to send all the slaves back to Africa. That's another conspiracy theory, that all the free black people were going to be sent back to Africa. So there's a lot of things that in history I would like to know. I think that we don't need to know everything our government does, but I think that we've gotten to a point now that they are not transparent like they should be. I could fix Washington, D.C. in 1 year.
Huh.
Everything would have to be transparent. There would be no lobbyist. You can only serve a 10-year term max of any office. If you run for president, you can only run 10 years of anything. Now, you don't get 10 years as a president. You only get 2 terms, but you can't overlap it and be a senator for 47 years and run for president. You only get 10 years max. Every meeting is transparent. On TV, the whole thing. There's no backroom deals. You can't do quorums anywhere else. That's it. There wouldn't be any trading, and you'd cut out all that pork bullshit.
Yeah, but I mean, also if you're going to do term limits, that's got to pass Congress.
I said that's how I would fix it. I'm not saying the motherfuckers would like what I'm going to do. They wouldn't like the transparency either. And they damn sure wouldn't like my last thing, no lobbyist. And if you served on any form of government, you can't work as a lobbyist. You serve your 10 years, you got to get the fuck out of Washington, D.C. and never go back. Can't even go visit.
Poor Thornberry, he'd be out of a job.
He's the problem, though. It's guys like him that are the problem. I bet he's making $2, $3, $4 million a year doing what he's doing now.
Mm-hmm. Trying to find out if Lincoln was going to. Some of these things said he was not going to.
That's what I mean. It's all some things I would like to know about our government. I think we landed on the moon. A lot of people don't think we landed on the moon.
Yeah.
I would like to know if we've tried to land on Mars and have gotten pushed away.
I did see where NASA came out and said that they believe that there are 300 million planets that they believe could hold life. 300 million. Now, if you go by the odds of that, it's pretty good that there's life somewhere else.
Yep. How far away are they? We'll never communicate with them.
Long, long way away.
Maybe we have an alter universe somewhere else. I bet them fuckers voted for Trump without any problems. They probably appreciated a good president. First time we've ever had someone that actually fought for us and did what he said he was going to do, and the other fucking idiots out there don't even get it.
You know, The Rock made a big post on his Instagram the other day, and he voted for Biden, of course.
He's a pussy.
But there was nothing policy-wise that he didn't like. It was all
social?
Feeling. It was all feeling.
Yeah, that's
it was all emotion. There was nothing set black and white that The Rock did not like about Donald Trump. It was all this emotion crap, and we got a just big old pussy.
You don't
big old baby.
You don't accumulate wealth. Do you think he really gives a shit about the people that he's beat out of roles and shit? No.
Well, no.
You know, and all the shit he's done. That you can't live that way. You know, I don't like the fact that I don't know that if Biden gets in, that you're going to be able to buy shotgun shells in 3 years.
Here's what he said. My vote represented my little girls. It also represented humanity, decency, principles, and values. And to me, being a decent human being matters.
So you voted for Joe Biden?
Yes, based off of. But I mean, you know, what is it? What is the one policy? And that's what I ask a lot of these people that maybe voted for Jorgensen or something like that. What is the one policy that turned you off from Donald Trump? Or was it all just this emotion? He's kind of the big bad bully.
I don't get the third party voters, because you can say what you want to, but your vote not going to Trump could have cost somebody an election somewhere. So you're happier with Biden because your person doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell of winning. Do I think we need more than 2 political parties? Yeah, but it ain't happening. Joe Biden, though, for decency, there's nothing decent about that guy. Now, do I think he's ever been a pedophile? I don't think so.
Do I think he sniffs kids? Yes.
Yes, but I don't think he's a pedophile. I just think he's a creepy old fucker. Do I think he's a weird dude? Yes. Do I think he's a racist? No, but he's made some pretty racial comments at times, more than Trump ever has.
Right.
I don't think he hates black people because they're black. I think he's like everybody else in Washington, D.C., if they're going to be completely honest. They don't like going to the crackhead neighborhoods and shit either because it's a bunch of fucking thugs down there. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to go down there. That's why you don't hear of a black politician living in the neighborhoods they fucking represent, because they don't want to live down there. And I don't blame them. But let's be honest about shit. Let's just don't put it on the other side, because everyone feels the same way. You know, why do black athletes not live in the ghetto? Because they can afford to live somewhere else. Joe Biden, his son is crooked. His son probably is a pedophile. His son's a fucking wacko. He's covered for him. Do I think Joe Biden is a crook? Yes. Do I think he's taking money for his favors? Yes. He is not a good person. Kamala Harris, there is nothing about her that represents decency.
No.
She's a bigot. She's a hypocrite. She sucked her way to the top and convinced me otherwise on that. Do you disagree with anything I said about her?
I mean, her record as a prosecutor, she's done some shady shit to keep people behind bars.
Yes.
You know, a lot of these people are for marijuana charges. She admitted that she smoked marijuana.
So does that make her a bigot or a hypocrite?
Hypocrite.
Okay. What about her locking people up and lying about it? Does that make her a hypocrite or a bigot?
I think you're splitting hairs here. I'd have to look up.
So she's probably the same thing.
I'd have to look up a proper definition of a bigot.
Do you think she sucked her way to the top?
You got a bigot. That's got to do with like race, doesn't it? Being a bigot.
Well, she is kind of a racist about shit. Since she talks about how Trump has done all this stuff against black people, and then she's locked up more black people than anybody has.
Mm-hmm. Listen.
Do you think she sucked her way to the top?
That's the
I'm
rumor.
asking you what you think.
I wasn't there. I'd like to have been. A person who is
Your mom laughed at that.
who is unreasonably attached to a belief, opinion, or faction, especially one who is prejudiced against or antagonistic toward a person or people on the basis of their membership to a particular group. So basically, a bigot is a racist, like I thought.
Okay, well, she's a bigot and a hypocrite.
See what kind of skills she's got. See if she's worthy of those jobs.
Willie Brown will tell you what kind of skills she has.
That's what I'm saying.
She must have been damn good to go from fucking on her knees to getting a seat in San Francisco doing something. Now she's going
to be the first female president.
She will be if Joe Biden gets elected. I think so. I think you're right. What a travesty. That shows right there to all you young girls out there that are looking for a job. If you suck more Peter, there's a damn good chance you can end up in Washington, D.C. in the Oval Office.
That's just ugly.
It's true.
Just if
that's true. Have you seen Willie Brown come out and say what didn't happen? If someone come out, if some gal come out and the rumor was that she gave you a blowjob so you could give her a job somewhere, Andy, would Andy not come out if it wasn't true and say, listen, I hadn't done nothing to her?
Andy would, yes.
Okay. Then Willie Brown would come out and say, listen, my penis never got close to her lips. Would he not?
Theoretically.
Yes. I mean, even Bill Clinton finally admitted that Monica Lewinsky gave him a Hummer. Mm-hmm. So I'm saying Willie Brown, every time you see him when he's got a smile,
he's thinking of Kamala.
That's because Kamala went down. I'm telling you. I have no doubt in my mind that she sucked her way to the top. I mean,
well, you act like you were there.
She's another Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
And Whoopi Goldberg. Well, Whoopi's got a kid.
I thought Whoopi was lesbian.
Well, she had a kid once. Ted Danson slept with her. Can you imagine that? Do you know who Ted Danson is? Yeah. Can you imagine that? This was during the Cheers time. He could bang any hottie in Hollywood, and he's sleeping with Whoopi.
Well, she is funny. Maybe she's cracking jokes after sex.
You think you find somebody hotter that could make you laugh? I don't think she's that funny. She's all right, but
you don't think Whoopi's funny?
She's sometimes not no more because she's on the fucking View with that fucking cunt Joy.
She's funny though.
Behar.
I've heard some of her one-liners. She's good.
She wouldn't be enough to sleep with. Anyways, and Kamala's never had kids. But she's going to tell people they need to be moms and all this shit. And so I'm just not sold on her. There are so many good ladies out there on the left and the right that would have made a really good, fine president. And I can't believe some cocksucker like Kamala Harris might be the first lady president.
That is the first time that we've used the term cocksucker on this show that's actually maybe an accurate representation. I'm
betting you it is. Everybody sit on the podcast, our private page, and yes or no on Kamala being a cocksucker, and we'll see. We'll let the
no, don't do that because Facebook's already looking at us.
They're looking at us.
Yeah.
Just put Kamala yes. You don't have to put what it's about. Just Kamala yes or Kamala no.
But keep cock and suck out of the closure, please.
Just put Kamala yes or Kamala no. Yeah, and I'm glad we're going to touch on that too. If you're a member of our Facebook page, and I kicked some little jackass off the other day, if you've got a problem with anything we post, just let us know. If there's something that's deliberately wrong or something, like one guy posted a picture one time of some guy on a beach and there was a little girl back there or some shit. Yeah, I took that shit off. It was an accident. But we're not playing them games. Mm-hmm. But if I find out who you are on your own page, I'm going to kick your little ass off and I'm going to dox your ass. You think fucking Black Lives Matter docks your ass? Fat white boy lives matter really docks your ass. I'll even call your boss and let him know what a cocksucker you are.
I do think, because I've seen some of the stuff that's been flagged, I think a lot of people fat finger it on accident. I don't know, and I've never flagged anything, so I don't know how easy or hard it is. But some of the shit like doesn't even make any sense as to why it would be flagged.
Well, my Facebook has gotten a lot better lately because I haven't lost anybody. And boy, I'll tell you what, there's been a big mass exodus off Facebook because I made a post on there the other day. I'm on Parler also, but I just don't know how to use it really. And I made a post on Facebook, and usually something that would get like 100 likes or 150, 200 likes, like 32 people liked it.
Maybe
so either
maybe it wasn't that good, Jeff.
That could be, but all of my stuff the last couple of days I've noticed has got a lot less fanfare than it used to.
Throttling you out.
No,
throttling you back.
I think a lot of people have left Facebook.
I don't know about that.
I've seen a lot of people say they may still have it, but I don't think they're active on it.
Facebook's not going anywhere.
I haven't looked at. No, I know it's not. I haven't looked at Fox News in the last week.
Have you watched the 5 inning?
No, not at all.
Nothing?
I won't do anything on Fox News no more. Screw them bastards. When they cut off what's her name yesterday, that was my final deal.
Kayla McEnany?
Yes. First of all, she's too good looking to cut off anyways. You should at least let her talk.
Listen, don't say Kayla McEnany and cut off. Brings back bad memories.
But she's she's a smart lady and stuff. But to cut
Sharp
her
as
off
a tack.
and to cut her off over that shit, there is legit for them to sit there and like President George Bush, George W, that fuck stick from Connecticut, come out and said, "Well, I'm going to congratulate Joe Biden. Donald Trump has a right to have this investigated, but I don't see where there's been any kind of voter fraud at all." First of all, you fucking hypocrite bigot. We went through 2000 with you and Al Gore. I was for you at the time. Now I'm embarrassed I ever voted for your ass. Donald Trump's deal is a whole lot more widespread. There's no doubt about it. And it's obvious that there's been a lot of fucking fraud going on. Today, the media, the left comes out and says, it doesn't look like there's any, what was the word they used?
Maybe enough voter fraud?
Basically, that was the word. That wasn't the word they used, but that's what they meant.
Widespread voter fraud?
There definitely was a little bit of voter fraud, but nothing really bigger.
Nothing to overturn the results.
Yes, not nothing that we should even be really worried about. No, fucking one vote's wrong.
Right.
You know? So, screw you, George Bush. What's wrong?
Screw you, George Bush.
Fuck him. Go back to Connecticut, you asshole. That's where he was born anyways. We don't want your ass up here anymore.
Well, he likes the taxes down here a little bit better.
Fuck him. Go on back there. I wish I'd go to Texas Ranger game and then fucking stand up again like he did last time. We'd boo his ass. He would get booed now. I tell you, that son of a bitch can't go nowhere in Texas without anybody like. Everybody used to love George Bush. Now it's poor Laura Bush. She's married to that cocksucker over there because people like her. She's a nice lady.
Well, this has gone off the rails.
Started out talking about a horrible day in waterfowl hunting to talking. We had to get this. We had to talk about the election eventually. I mean, we did. You know, and you start to see now. I'm starting to think Trump does have a chance because I'm starting to notice some of the Republicans are coming back now and supporting him again. Have you noticed that?
No.
Yeah, you've got Lindsey Graham's come back. Mitch McConnell's coming back now. Ted Cruz is there. You're starting to see some Republican politicians now are starting to, well, yeah, Trump, we're behind him 100%. First, they didn't say shit, but now that they're starting to see that maybe that's telling me that Trump might have a chance here.
Maybe the wheels are in motion.
Oh, they're definitely in motion. But I think if they would try to separate themselves from him if he had no chance in hell.
Right.
But now that maybe they're like, oh, fuck, he may do this. And maybe,
motherfucker might be around for 4 more years. I better act like I at least gave a shit.
If he gets back in, can you imagine the fuckers that tried to stab him in the back?
Oh, no.
He'll be on their ass.
No.
There ain't a more beloved president than we've ever had, nor more hated president than we have than Donald Trump.
No.
But I'm going to tell you
right now. You were either all in or you were all out. There was no, I kind of like him. Maybe I'll do it. It was either one or the other. And evidently, 71 million, is that the final tally?
It's still going up now. Now they're starting at 71.5 million.
And he only got 62 in 2016?
Yep.
Where's the fucking Russians?
Yep. Yeah, no, they're not in play this time for some reason.
He got almost 10 million more votes, and no, not even a whisper of any Russian interference.
If we didn't do mail-in ballots, how many states would he have won?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
You can't do fraud when you have to go vote in person.
Pennsylvania's probably off the table.
Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin.
Probably all the ones that it came down to at the very end.
Would all be his.
Yeah.
You know, the only state that he lost just outright slammed in was California. And I really thought he'd pick up more votes. No, New York's a lot closer than you think, too.
Minnesota, too.
He still lost Minnesota by a pretty good advantage. I thought it would be a lot closer because he was so close last time. I think there's so many people out there that just cannot wake themselves up enough to vote for who is best for the country and who's best for their own selves. I mean, I don't know one person out there that actually having Joe Biden in office would make their life better. Not one person. There's no reason to vote for Joe Biden. If you want to pay higher taxes, if you want to have to rely on the government over our health care, which health care has been fucked up way before Obama get in office, and it's going to be fucked up way after. Security, defunding the police department. That's the stupidest thing ever. If you live in a neighborhood that's got a ghetto in it in MLK Boulevard or whatever, you better hope to hell that Donald Trump gets back in office, because that's going to be the shittiest place in the country to live. If they've got Crips and Bloods in your neighborhood, you better fucking hope there's some blue cops around, because if not, you're fucked big time.
Your mother is...
Houston had 2 police officers just got shot this morning. Yeah, it's horrible.
Over what?
Fucking probably just shooting them. I mean, there's no respect, and the left has pushed that shit. If the left would push doing things, the unity they talk about now, support your police officers, support your soldiers. I mean, when it's just this country's taking down a bad path, and hopefully Trump will get in and we can fix some of it. The next 4 years are going to be fucked no matter who's president, though. Mm-hmm. Now, if Trump does somehow get in, I think maybe they'll tighten up the streets a little bit. Maybe that'll be nice.
What do you think about him? They're saying now that he's going to start doing rallies again.
He's going to do rallies on all these places that they're not counting the votes to try to get his deal. Just going to stir people up.
I mean,
he's loved. He is. He ain't going away. If they give this to Joe Biden, his ass is going to do rallies from day one.
Do you think that think he runs in 2024?
If he don't get it, yeah.
You think he does?
Oh, yeah. He ain't going nowhere. He's not a quitter.
The good thing is in 2024, he'll be running against Kamala and AOC.
Yeah, he's not a quitter. And they're going to have a record to run on like he had. His record was, if they didn't let do you think the China virus was let out on purpose?
In what way?
Do you think it was created in a lab and put over here to screw up our economy?
I don't know.
I say yes.
I do believe that it was man-made, and I do believe that it was released. I don't know if it was released with the intent of destroying everything, I don't know if it was worse than what they were expecting, or if it didn't have the effect that they were hoping for. They might have hoped for just everybody to fucking get it and drop dead.
How many billions of dollars was China losing because of the Trump trade deals? Lots.
A lot.
And they had a lot of reason to have him get away. And they knew that's the way they're going to beat him, was on the economy. If the China virus never come, this election wouldn't even have been a big deal. First of all, Bernie Sanders probably would have been the Democratic candidate.
If the China virus doesn't come...
Look at the whole house of cards and how they fell. China virus comes in.
And then you had all this racial...
The Democrats tell everybody to lock everybody up. Or to not lock everybody up. Trump locks everybody up. Then they flip it. They know, no, you should have locked them up a long time ago. Then we get this guy, some jackass in Minneapolis, it was a bad guy, gets killed from a fentanyl overdose, but a cop's on his knees. Somebody gets a video of it. Then we have all the Black Lives Matter burning, and every cop incident with the cop, everybody wants to go in the street and riot, and the left and the media perpetrate that, and they're all good for it. We have a Democratic primary, and Bernie Sanders kicks ass and everything, and then all of a sudden everybody drops out, so it's just Joe Biden and him, and Joe Biden wins, and everybody else endorses Joe Biden. The same people that were on the stage ripping on Joe Biden the whole time before. If Elizabeth Warren would have dropped out, though, the same time they did, Bernie Sanders would have won everybody, and he'd be your candidate right now. Then they somehow pick Kamala Harris, who had a 3% favorability in the Democratic race, and they make her the vice president. The economy's in shatters. Then we finally get a breakthrough on a vaccine. Instead of releasing a week early that, we got a vaccine now, we wait till after the election to do it.
Why do you think Pfizer did that?
Because they were in bed with Big Pharmacy. Who makes money? Big Pharmacy, the Democrats or the Republicans? Trump's cost the pharmaceutical millions of dollars. What hurts me for Donald Trump is I know what it's like when you're loyal to somebody and somebody breaks it off in your ass. And that's what's happened to him on this deal. Everybody that he helped do stuff and had the White House and helped do things that were kissing his ass and we want to do this for America was the same meantime trying to get someone else in there because you're costing them money.
Mm-hmm.
Pfizer didn't want Donald Trump as president no more than China
Pfizer?
did. No, fuck no. It's costing them money. You know?
The deep state is deep.
Oh, it's fucking deep, 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 deep. The deepest part of the ocean deep.
And I mean, that's what's, I think that's who's really pulling the strings here.
Yeah. All the guys at Fox News, they've all turned on. They hadn't turned on him, but the network has. Oh,
now, who's the Murdoch's? Is it his
Rupert Murdoch passed away, I believe, and it's his kids are taking it over.
Daughter-in-law that is running it now?
Who knows?
She's a big Biden supporter.
They're all fucking liberals now. They're out of touch with reality. Now, Newsmax is coming on. And
what is Newsmax?
One American North. It's a channel 216 on Dish.
I don't have Dish. I'm a cord cutter, Jeff.
I bet Newsmax is on there. And it's a more of a conservative viewpoint.
There's been nothing to watch on TV. Like, I've been so pissed off about this that I've not watched Fox News either.
I ain't watching it.
That was what I would watch the 5 every day.
Yeah, I would too.
And now it's getting like, I don't even want to watch that. And there's nothing on. Like, it's literally Andy Griffith reruns.
I watched football. Watched Food Network. I started watching Deadwood again. I like Deadwood. Started watching it again, but I'm the same way. I'm not watching most of that shit now. What's the guy's name that's on at 8:00 on Fox?
Tucker.
Tucker has got them by the balls.
Yeah, because
he's the most popular guy on TV. Their ratings below CNN and MSNBC now. They said, "You pissed off 71 million fucking people. What do you expect?"
Wow.
That were 100% Fox News watchers. Most everybody that voted for Trump was a Fox News guy or lady or whatever. Those people have left. Their ratings were below MSNBC's and CNN's now. I mean, fuck.
I haven't watched since the election.
I bet you that...
I think I watched the 5 one day after the election just to kind of see what was going on.
Jesse Waters and whoever you said a minute ago, I can't remember his name. I always forget it. Tucker. I bet Tucker ends up at Newsmax or somewhere like that. One rumor is that Trump doesn't get in this. He's going to start his own media company. Boy, that would be popular. I'm going to tell you what, Trump's a brand.
Yeah, he is.
And his flags and everything else, that ain't going away. That Trump Keep America Great 2020 thing is going to stay flying in this damn lodge.
Think so?
I own this motherfucker as long as I do it staying up there.
Yeah, but
I ain't taking it down.
Time passes by.
Well, if it does it, I'll store it somewhere. I may not. I may leave it here forever. You may come in here 60 years. I might be the world's oldest living man, and I'll be like, "Here's my sign up there."
We're going to have to take it down in 4 or 5 years.
We may. We'll see what happens. But I'm proud I voted for Donald Trump twice. I can honestly say.
Might get to do it a third time.
That's right. I can say that I've lived in the 2 greatest presidents in our country's history, or 2 of the greatest presidents in Donald Trump and Ronald Reagan. I think John F. Kennedy was really a good president, and I think him and Donald Trump are a lot alike. The deep state didn't like John F. Kennedy either. And that's why he got killed. And you know damn well some bitches wish they would have killed Trump. I
think that's why he wouldn't declassify everything.
Oh, I don't think he's worried about that shit.
I think he is.
Dude.
I would be. It ain't worth that to me. It ain't worth me losing my head.
I would say he has lifetime protection, but they couldn't keep Kennedy safe, so who knows?
Bad back is what got Kennedy.
His son,
Eric, Don Jr.?
Don Jr. or Eric, one of them put on yesterday, declassify everything. So his kids are pushing for that.
I would just be careful. The deep state runs deep.
Yep. Watch House of Cards. I'll show you what it is. All right, let's get off this place. We've talked for a long time today. Anyways, God bless our soldiers, and God bless y'all, and keep on fighting. And remember those guys from Armistice Day. What a horrible day.
Fuck, with the weather like it is now.
It's hard to believe it was even cold.
It's hard to believe that there was ever snow or hard wind or anything like that. I mean, fuck, you look at the 10-day. Have you seen it lately?
Yeah, it's a flat line. It's the same shit every day,
forever. 73, 79, 66. We got a cold shot coming. 66 degrees. Holy moly. And then next Wednesday, 75. Fuck, it doesn't even get below freezing for a low.
Let me tell you something. I'm looking at Blake's temperatures. 39 today, 61 by Saturday, 69 on Wednesday, and 64 Thursday a week from now. So, see, it's the same way everywhere.
But that is not good if you're a waterfowl hunter below Kansas or Nebraska.
Now, we got a lot of geese here, but wood ducks are going to be few and far between.
Well, I mean, they're just going to get stale.
They are. We're going to need some winter.
I mean, what is it now? So we'll start.
We'll have a big
Saturday.
front around Thanksgiving.
I think you can see Thanksgiving on the. No,
you can't.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't either.
Saturday is the 14th. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Thanksgiving is it's the week after, isn't it?
Yeah. Today's the 10th. Thanksgiving is on the 26th.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Thanksgiving was a week early.
No, we're going to have that week of the 26th, 27th, we'll have a big front.
But you should be able to look at Minot in about another couple of days and see if anything's coming.
Oh, you can see it's about 37 degrees up there.
So depressing. This is exactly why I like September and October better than I actually like hunting season.
Because you don't have to worry about the weather that much.
No. Everything is potential. Everything is in the fog and everything. That's why the Browns fans are so jazzed up in August. The season hadn't happened, and everybody's got an equal shot at fucking going to the Super Bowl.
Until reality sets in.
And then reality sets in, and you're thinking, fuck, it's 75 degrees, and that's all I see on my fucking weather. I don't see any front.
Hey,
that's why I like September and October so much better.
Let's do this real quick. Our last parting shot. What's your Super Bowl prediction now?
I can't make heads or tails out of the NFC. I thought it was the Bucs. They got demolished.
Well, I'm asking you your Super Bowl picks, NFC and AFC right now.
I'm going to keep it.
Tampa Bay and who?
Tampa Bay and Kansas City. The Bucs, or not the Bucs, the Bills look good.
That was my dark horse team. Remember when the year started, I said if I had to pick a dark horse team, if I was in Vegas putting money on someone with big odds, I would have bet on Buffalo. Kansas City is sure tough. Man, Buffalo stays in all the games, though. Buffalo, it's not going to hurt them to go play in Kansas City. I'm going to take the Chiefs, but I'm sure starting to lean towards Tennessee a little bit.
No.
Just because the simple fact that when it gets sloppy and cold and shitty.
It's not going to this year. We've already covered that.
Yeah, there's a long time before January. Because remember, the Super Bowl's back a week or two. It's going to be cold and wet and sloppy, so Tennessee's really going to be good. But I'm going to stick with Kansas City, but I'm starting to really get close to Tennessee. In the NFC, I really am starting to believe it's going to be your Packers.
I don't. They're not consistent enough.
Yeah, well, neither is Tampa Bay or New Orleans.
Seattle's going to be tough to contend with.
Their defense sucks.
No, it does do that.
I mean, they're horrible on defense. They're almost as bad as the Cowboys were on defense. I mean, if the Dallas Cowboys give up 40 points to Buffalo Bills, everybody be like, that's all you'd hear about. And look at who Seattle's giving points up to.
Yeah,
they give up 40 points to fucking everybody.
I think when the Packers play Chicago, that'll kind of solve that mystery because Chicago, they're another team that they look great, then they look good, then they look bad.
They're one trade away from being a really good football team.
Who?
Chicago.
I think the NFC is down to Green Bay, Tampa Bay, and Seattle. San Francisco's too banged up. Arizona, I think, is still a couple years away. Kyler Murray looks pretty good. They're scoring a lot of points.
If I was Chicago, what Chicago's going to probably do is do something stupid like sign Jimmy Garoppolo next year, and they'll be right in the same boat they're in now. They need to fucking sign Dak Prescott. He throws the ball around a lot. Offensively, he's a good quarterback on it, and they have a good defense.
3-4, the Eagles are leading that division.
The Eagles will end up being above 500 probably. They're starting to get all their players back.
Poor Tampa Bay. They got a wild card spot at 6-3. They're below the Eagles.
Yep.
But I mean, you look at it: Saints, Seattle, Packers, and the Eagles. I mean, it's hard to say that the Packers aren't a favorite, but
what's Packers' record right now?
6-3, 5-3.
Who is? Green Bay is
6-2.
Who's winning the NFC right now with the best record?
Everybody's at 6-2. Saints 6-2. Seattle 6-2.
Who beat Green Bay? Tampa Bay and who else?
Tampa Bay did, and I can't remember now.
Tampa Bay's fucked because they've lost twice to New Orleans, so they're screwed in that deal.
Who did they? I feel like they lost back to back maybe.
With Minnesota?
Minnesota. They lost last week to Minnesota. Yeah, that's what it is.
That's a team that's getting
too much shit
starting
on.
to win now too.
Yeah.
See, they're talking about. Did you know they're wanting to add 2 extra wild card teams this year?
It won't be this year.
They're talking about doing it this year. adding 2 extra wild card teams to the mix this year. But
Maybe because of COVID?
Yep, that's what they said, because of COVID, moved 2 extra teams to it. In the AFC, the Chiefs got the best. No, Pittsburgh does. Pittsburgh is not the best team in the AFC, though.
I don't think so either. Love you, James Washington, but
no, they're not. They're not the best team in the AFC. They play to win, and they play at the. They're just. I just don't think they're there. I don't think Baltimore is even close, though, either.
Chiefs are 8-1. Tennessee 6-2.
I think those are the best 2 teams in the AFC still.
Bills 7-2.
And they're pretty damn close, also.
I don't know. It's a fun time of year. I just wish we could get some cold weather.
What a difference things make. You're going to go to the playoffs in the NFC. You're going to go to Tampa Bay or New Orleans probably and play a game. Or to Arizona, because Arizona might win that division. And or in the AFC, you're going to go Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and Tennessee.
Yeah.
Be a whole lot difference playing outside and cold. All right, let's get off this thing.
Okay.
See ya.